Land of Mu. British writer James Churchward claimed to have discovered this lost continent in the Pacific Ocean. He published his theories in the 1920s and 1930s across multiple books. Churchward said he learned about Mu from ancient clay tablets he found in India. These tablets were written in a forgotten language that only a few mystics could read. According to Churchward, Mu stretched across a vast area of the Pacific. The continent measured about 5,000 miles from east to west and 3,000 miles north to south. It held a population of 64 million people at its peak. The civilization mastered advanced sciences and colonized the entire Earth thousands of years ago. The disappearance came through volcanic and seismic activity. Underground gas chambers beneath the continent collapsed. This triggered massive earthquakes across the entire landmass. Within days, the continent shattered into pieces and sank beneath the Pacific Ocean. The only survivors were people living in colonies outside Mu itself. Pacific islands like Hawaii, Easter Island, and Tahiti are allegedly the remaining mountaintops of this vanished continent. Geological surveys have found no evidence of a sunken Pacific continent. The ocean floor shows only volcanic islands and normal oceanic crust. Scientists consider Churchward's claims completely unsupported by physical evidence. Atlantis. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato described this island civilization in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias around 360 BCE. He placed it beyond the Pillars of Hercules. The pillars mark what is now the Strait of Gibraltar. The kingdom was larger than Libya and Asia combined. Atlantis ruled over several other islands and parts of the continent. The vanishing happened in a single catastrophic event. Plato wrote that violent earthquakes and floods struck the island. Within one day and night, the entire landmass sank beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Every person, building, and trace of the civilization disappeared under the waves. Plato placed this disaster around 9,600 BCE, thousands of years before his own time. Plato claimed he heard this story through his ancestor Solon. Solon learned it from Egyptian priests. These priests kept records going back thousands of years. They told Solon that Atlantis possessed advanced technology and impressive architecture. Concentric rings of water and land formed the capital city. The Atlanteans controlled vast resources, including a mysterious metal called orichalcum. The debate continues whether Plato invented this as a moral tale or described a real place. Some researchers link it to the volcanic destruction of Santorini. Others point to different Mediterranean catastrophes. Lemuria, a 19th century zoologist named Philip Sclater, proposed this lost continent to explain a scientific puzzle. He noticed lemurs lived in Madagascar and India, but not in Africa or the Middle East between them. Sclater theorized a land bridge once connected these regions, then sank into the Indian Ocean. He published this idea in 1864. He named the vanished land after the lemurs themselves. The scientific community initially took the theory seriously. Geologists had not yet discovered plate tectonics or continental drift. A sunken landmass seemed like a reasonable explanation for puzzling animal distributions. Other scientists expanded the concept. They suggested Lemuria stretched from Madagascar to Southeast Asia. Some included Australia in their theories. The continent disappeared through gradual geological subsidence. Unlike Atlantis' sudden destruction, Lemuria sank slowly over thousands of years. Sections broke apart and submerged in stages. The Indian Ocean eventually covered everything except the highest peaks. These became islands like Madagascar, the Seychelles, and the Maldives. Modern plate tectonics completely disproved the geological basis for Lemuria. Scientists now understand lemurs reached Madagascar by crossing narrow water channels on natural rafts of vegetation. No sunken continent exists in the Indian Ocean. Despite this, occultists and alternative historians still discuss Lemuria as a mystical civilization that possessed advanced spiritual knowledge before vanishing. Yes, Breton legend tells of a prosperous city on the coast of Brittany in northwestern France. King Gradlon ruled this kingdom sometime in the 4th or 5th century CE. The city sat below sea level, protected by massive walls and a system of gates. Only the king held the key to the great bronze gate that kept the Atlantic Ocean at bay. The king's daughter, Dahut, loved luxury and pleasure. She hosted elaborate parties and showed no interest in her father's warnings about the sea. Accounts vary on the cause of the flood. Some say Dahut fell in love with a stranger who was actually a demon. Others claim she simply grew reckless and proud. The gates opened during a terrible storm. Water poured into the city faster than anyone could react. The entire population tried to flee as waves crashed through the streets. King Gradlon escaped on horseback with Dahut behind him. A holy man told him the city would stay cursed as long as Dahut remained alive. The king pushed his daughter from the horse into the flood. The sea swallowed ease completely. Breton fishermen claim they sometimes see towers beneath the waves on clear days. Church bells ring underwater during storms, warning sailors away from the sunken ruins. Lyonesse. Medieval Arthurian legends place this kingdom between Cornwall and the Scilly Isles off England's southwestern coast. The land connected Cornwall to the islands through fertile fields and prosperous towns. Lyonesse appeared in multiple tales as the homeland of the knight Tristan. The kingdom contained 140 parish churches and supported a large population across its territory. The flooding came without warning during a single night. Most accounts place this disaster in the 11th century CE. Some traditions push it back earlier. A massive storm surge overwhelmed the low-lying land. Waves crashed across fields and villages faster than people could wake and run. The kingdom vanished beneath the English Channel within hours. Only one man escaped the catastrophe. Trevelyan rode a white horse fast enough to outpace the rising water. He reached Cornwall just as the last strip of land submerged behind him. His descendants kept the story alive for generations. The Trevelyan family coat of arms shows a horse emerging from the sea. Fishermen working between Cornwall and the Scilly Isles report seeing stone structures underwater. Scientific surveys have found submerged forests in the area. These forests prove sea levels were once lower. Land did connect Cornwall to the islands. Whether a sudden flood destroyed a kingdom remains debated. Avalon. Arthurian legend describes this mystical island where King Arthur went after his final battle. The name means Isle of Apples in old Celtic languages. Geoffrey of Monmouth wrote about Avalon in the 12th century as a place of healing and magic. 9 enchantresses lived there, led by Morgan Le Fay, Arthur's half-sister. They possessed knowledge of herbal medicine and supernatural powers. Arthur received mortal wounds fighting his son Mordred at the Battle of Camlan. His remaining knights placed him in a boat. The vessel carried the dying king across the water to Avalon. The enchantresses agreed to heal him if his wounds proved curable. Accounts disagree whether Arthur died or sleeps in Avalon, waiting to return when Britain needs him most. The island did not sink or get destroyed. Instead, mists rose and hid Avalon from mortal eyes. The barrier between the magical realm and the ordinary world grew too thick to cross. No normal ship could navigate the enchanted fog surrounding the island. Only those with magical knowledge knew the correct paths through the mist. Some traditions identify Avalon with Glastonbury in Somerset, England. Monks at Glastonbury Abbey claimed they found Arthur's grave in 1191. They presented bones and a lead cross as proof. Modern scholars consider this a medieval publicity stunt to attract pilgrims and donations. Shambhala. Tibetan Buddhist and Hindu texts describe this hidden kingdom somewhere in the Himalayas or Central Asia. Sanskrit sources dating back over 1,000 years mention Shambhala as a place of peace and wisdom. The kingdom follows a perfect dharmic society where everyone practices virtue. Enlightened kings rule with complete justice and compassion. The kingdom did not vanish through destruction. Instead, Shambhala removed itself from the physical world. The realm exists in a parallel dimension or spiritual plane that overlaps reality. Only people who achieve sufficient spiritual purity can perceive and enter it. Regular travelers pass through the exact location without seeing anything unusual. Various texts give details about finding Shambhala. Some say it lies north of India in a valley surrounded by snow mountains. Others place it in the Gobi Desert or Mongolia. Certain traditions describe the journey as spiritual rather than physical. A person must purify their mind and heart before the path reveals itself. The Kalachakra Tantra provides the most detailed Buddhist descriptions of Shambhala. It predicts the kingdom will emerge when the world descends into chaos and war. The king of Shambhala will lead an army to defeat evil forces and establish a new golden age. Until that prophesied time arrives, the kingdom remains hidden and protected from corruption. Hyperborea. Greek writers describe this land in the far north, beyond the reach of the north wind. The name literally means beyond Boreas, the god of the northern wind. Ancient sources placed Hyperborea somewhere above Scythia, in regions unknown to Mediterranean civilizations. The land enjoyed eternal spring despite its northern location. No harsh weather ever touched it. The people of Hyperborea lived in perfect happiness for 1,000 years. They never experienced disease, old age, or war. The sun shone continuously for 6 months. Then darkness lasted the other 6 months. During their long day, Hyperboreans spent time in worship, music, and feasting. Apollo, the god of light and prophecy, favored this land above all others. The kingdom did not suffer catastrophe or conquest. Accounts suggest various forms of disappearance. Some sources claim climate change gradually made the northern lands uninhabitable. The eternal spring ended and ice crept south. The Hyperboreans migrated away. Their cities crumbled into ruins under advancing glaciers. Other traditions say Hyperborea shifted into a hidden state like Shambhala. The kingdom withdrew from the physical world as humanity became more violent and corrupt. A few occult writers identified Hyperborea with the Arctic or with Thule, another legendary northern land. No archaeological evidence supports any physical location for this civilization. Subscribe so this channel doesn't pull an Atlantis and sink into obscurity.